Hello everyone, my name is Beth and this is my Flosstube channel, Busy Bee Stitches. I'm here today with my 2024 WIP parade and I'm so happy to have you join me. I can't do this without shaking the camera a little bit, sorry. I have 2 of these full of WIPs to show you. So, before I jump in, I just wanted to let you know that often I combine my WIP parade with my year-end review, and I just am struggling to combine my schedule with having light outside. And I really wanted to film my WIP parade with light outside. So I'm gonna film my WIP parade now, and later tonight when I have more time again, I will film the year-end review. I have all of my data ready. I just need to get that filmed. So you'll be seeing those videos in separate YouTube videos, but I'm gonna release them back to back. I'm filming them back to back. So you'll have all of the fun to watch all together. Also a disclaimer for this video, if you have not watched my 2024 plans video, you might want to do that first or at least skim through it, because there may be some stuff that I reference that won't entirely make sense if you haven't seen that. So, let me prepare myself as we get to it. All right, so in total, I have 40 active WIPs. I have 3 WIPs from 2019, 6 WIPs from 2020, so that's 9, 11 WIPs from 2021 for 20, and then 4 WIPs from 2022, so that's 24, and then 16 WIPs from 2023 for a whopping 40. I also have 3 UFOs that are not permanent UFOs, just for now UFOs, and I will be showing those to you at the end. So jumping right in to 2019, I'm going in start order. So I'll be sharing with you when I started it. I'll also be sharing with you the size. I have a breakdown of sizes. Even if you watch my 2024 plans, I don't want you to have to remember. So here's my size breakdown. Here also is the breakdown of deadlines that I have decided to put on my WIPs. And then I also will put here my color category breakdown from my 2024 plans video, and I will be sharing with you what color each of those WIPs are. So, 2019. My oldest WIP is Harry Potter Covers Collage by Fox and Teacup, and I am doing the unattributed version because I don't support the author of the series. Okay, so I started this in March of 2019. This is a BAP, and that means its deadline is 2032. Just sounds ridiculous. I have a fuzz in my mouth. So that makes this a green project. And here is my progress on this. I love seeing it all like that. I don't have it unfurled very often. Usually I pull it right out and put it straight into the Q-snap and don't spend some time looking at it. So I just like to stare at it a little. So my next progress will be down here. I've decided I'm gonna do some stair step progress. So I'll be working down here next. I'm doing my stair steps not by page because the page breaks are kind of arbitrary. I'm doing the page breaks down. So this is the first page row, completed all the way across. And then the second page row is here. So then I'm going to be doing, but then horizontally I'm doing book sections. So I'm going to be doing book 1 all the way down to the 3rd page section. So not all of these book slices are the same width. The first one is larger than any of the others, and then the second one is also kind of bigger, and then some of these in here are smaller, but the colors really flow in the book strips much better than they do across a page, so that's why I'm doing it that way. And this is a focus WIP for 2024. I will be putting in 8,000 stitches into this project, which annoyingly feels like not very much in this project, but 8,000 stitches is still 8,000 stitches, baby. You just gotta put in the stitches, you know? All right, my next 2019 WIP. This project was UFO'd for a while, and this past year I brought it back, and now it's going to be a focus project. This is Rainbow Blackwork by Peppermint Purple. This is the first blackwork project that I ever started. I started this in May of 2019. This is a large project, and because of that, its deadline is 2024, which is this year. So that makes it an orange project. So there's my progress. Finishing this row is the halfway point, I believe. I think there are, I don't have the picture in front of me, you guys just saw it. I think there are 8 rows. So all these top rows are very similar colors of like teal and blue. They're all different, but they're very similar. But we're about to get into some really like differentiating colors as we go down. I'm enjoying this project a lot. I think I got a little bit tired of just blocks of blackwork fill while I was stitching the blackwork chessboard by Peppermint Purple, because that was just such a big project and I put in so much work to get it done for the wedding present for my husband in 2022, and that is why this was UFO'd for a while, is because I was focused on that. But so after this project is done, I will definitely start another blackwork. Actually, I have one in my UFOs that'll have to go first, but after that I'll definitely be continuing doing blackwork because I really enjoy it, but I'd like to work in some more fills that like create texture in an image type of thing, instead of just like sampler blocks of blackwork fill. Not that that's not pretty, it's just I need a little bit of a break from that. So this project will be a finish this year, guaranteed. That project will get 8,000 stitches this year, which should be plenty. I should be able to do basically a row a month that I work on it, because I'll work on it 4 times throughout the year. So each of those times I'll finish a row, and somewhere in there I'll finish the other 2 blocks that I haven't done yet, and that should be great. All right, and my last WIP from 2019 is actually in progress at the moment. You're seeing a tiny bit of January progress here, but I'll show you what this is first. This is Autumn Quakers by Rosewood Manor. I started this in September of 2019. I started this right before Galleria, I think, or right after Galleria, right around Galleria. And this is a huge project, and that makes its deadline 2027. So this is technically a green project. However, this is the only exception that I am making to my color categories, because this project is not my favorite to work on. I think it's gorgeous, but I don't love working with the Valdani floss. I'm doing the called for Valdani floss. I really don't like it. It's 3 strands on 28, which I don't love. I was just such a baby stitcher when I started this, and I just didn't know. And because this is so big, like, it's quite the commitment to have to stitch on something that you like, on materials that you don't like stitching with. But I'm in this far. I'm gonna finish it. I think it's gorgeous. I just need to get it out of my WIP pile. I don't want it hanging around anymore. So even though it's a green project, this is a focus WIP and to be finished this year. And actually, this project is what inspired my my focus WIPs, my 3 focus WIPs, because the last time I worked on this, I was looking at what was left, doing some counting of stitches, and realized I had about 8,000 stitches left. So I realized that if I stitched for 2,000 stitches 4 times in the year, that I would finish it. So without further ado, this is where I am. So up through here, well, up through like here, it's finished all the way across, except for a little bit of backstitching. And then here is where I've been working in January, and everything else was there already. So it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. It feels like I'm closer than I am, honestly. Like, it's surprising to me that I have 8,000 stitches left in this, but I think this is like really only about halfway done. It's a little hard to tell because I don't know I don't have like an exact stitch count of how many stitches are in it to know how close I am to a finish, but I technically have that data and can figure it out, but it doesn't really matter. I just know that if I stitch on this 2,000 stitches 4 times this year, that I will finish it, and that will be glorious. I haven't been sharing fabrics. I don't know fabrics for every single piece I have, but Harry Potter covers is on 18 count Aida, which I will never do again, by the way. I will never do another full coverage in 18 count Aida. It's really hard to get the stitches looking nice because they're just really dense. Rainbow Blackwork is also on 18 count Aida, I think, which I think I also won't do again because it makes the fills like really small and cramped and harder to see like what the fill is actually trying to accomplish. But I do definitely prefer stitching blackwork on Aida, I have learned. And then Autumn Quakers is on a piece of 28 count doubloon, which I think is the called for linen. All right, so those are my 3 2019 WIPs. Moving on to 2020. So I have 6 from 2020. Starting with, sorry, my list is hard to read. May of 2020. This is the Woodland Sal by Doreen Jones. Here, I'll post a picture of what that will look like. This is a large project, which makes it due in 2025, and therefore it is a yellow project. My first yellow project of the day. And here's what that looks like. A very sad amount of progress considering this project is 4 years old. 3.5. The owl and the rabbit are done, and the weasel has a little bit more stitching to do and then back stitching. So these animals are deceptively a lot of stitching. So my yellow WIPs are like, maybe I'll get to them twice if I'm lucky, maybe only once. 1,000 stitches on this project is like barely gonna get me finished the weasel and maybe one more animal, maybe. Probably not even. It'll probably get me finished the weasel and started on the next one. But yeah, these are a lot of stitching, a lot of confetti, so it's really slow going. I'm having to mark off, like highlight in my pattern every like 3 or so stitches so that I don't get confused. This is a tough project, but I love it. It's so rewarding. It's so beautiful. I am stitching this on the called for. This is an exclusive fabric to Lakeside Needlecraft called Woodland. It's 32 count even weave. It is printed, so the back is white. And there we go. So if I'm gonna finish this by 2025, but I'm only gonna get like, I'm not even gonna be done with the first row by the end of this year, this is gonna have to be a focus project next year. And even so, I doubt it'll make its deadline because I've just neglected this project so much. But that's what this rotation is for, is to give love to the things that have been too neglected. All right, in July of 2020, I started Peacock Keeper by Lindy Stitches. I started this for the Representation Matters Sal because the man in the middle is not white. And this is a large project, which makes its deadline 2025 as well. So this is also a yellow project. And here's where I am. So we have top and bottom in there, so we can actually see what the approximately what the size is gonna look like. I'm not all the way over. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb. Why would it ring? No, thank you. Anyway, so I don't have the right side in yet, so can't totally tell the size, but there you go. So my goal for this project is to essentially most of this pattern is mirrored. So I'm gonna finish these peacocks over here, continue the border across the top, and then stitch the same peacocks on the other side. They're not like 100% identical, but they are very similar, so that's the plan with this one. Next, we have a project that I somehow, this is so irritating to me, do not have the exact start date for. I don't know what happened. My first stitching session on this project, I like didn't write it down, which is very unlike me. I at least, if it doesn't make it into my journal, I at least will like write it on a sticky or take a picture of the calculator where I figured out my stitches or something. And I didn't do that. I'm so mad at myself. And I didn't take a picture of my progress either. So I don't know. I don't know when I started this. The date that I have assigned to it as my best guess, just so that it can have a date and therefore a deadline, is August of 2020. It was definitely 2020. For sure 2020, so I'm just calling it August. So this is Huggleberry Farm by the Blue Flower. This is a huge project, and that makes its deadline in 2028. So this is a green project. And I adore this project. It is so much fun. It is so beautiful. I feel like maybe it's showing up a little bit more purpley than usual. I always struggle to show this project and to make it actually look purple in the camera, because to me the fabric is very purple. I mean, it is like a purpley gray. It's taupe. But it's a purple gray. It is not just a flat gray. So I thought it's just, I think this is the called for fabric, and I'm just so in love with how the purples lay onto the purpley gray background. I just love it. I love it. So I am in the middle of stitching this gigantic house, and then we'll be continuing over next to the house to find the right side of this pattern. So this is gonna take me a while. This is 40 count, by the way. 40 count, Picture This Plus Shale. This might be my first, no, this was not my first 40 count. Was this my first 40 count? No, this was not my first 40 count, but this is an early 40 count for me. 2020 was definitely my first step at 40 count. And I really like working on this with one strand. I think it makes it look so clean. Big fan. All right, next is one of my favorite WIPs that I have. This is 100 Owls by Owl Forest Embroidery. I started this in November of 2020. Of course, I did not keep up with the SAL because it is still in my WIP pile 4 years later, three years later. Anyway, this is a huge project. This will have a deadline of 2028, which makes it a green project. And here's my progress. Not even halfway done, but I love it. I've been stitching this with Athena of Stitching Goddess Designs, and for a while there we had been stitching it on the 14th of every month because we both have birthdays on the 14th of our respective birthday months. But that sort of fell off just as our schedules got difficult, but we are both still stitching it, we are both still loving it, and I think we're like not too far away from each other in progress either. We sort of surge ahead and behind of each other, but I think we're similarly placed. And this fabric is a 40 count dark cobblestone, I think. And I'm doing that with all of the Owl Forest threads. Next, if you have been watching my videos recently, you will recognize this project. This is Mont Sapa by Jardin Privé. This was a December 2020 start. I'm doing this on a piece of 32 count Weeks Dye Works Aztec Red. And I am stitching this in sulky for the full cross, and then the back stitch is all in a corresponding DMC so that it all matches up. And this is so close to a finish. So this is a medium project, which makes this deadline 2023, which obviously that didn't happen. I didn't have these deadlines yet in 2023 anyway. So this is a red project, which means this is like top priority for finishing early this year. And it's so close. Really all that's left is the music notes here in the staff on the bottom, and then there are a few like stars and things scattered throughout that are blackwork or backstitch, but other than that, this is real close. So I'm excited to get this one checked off, and I could not be more pleased with myself for my color choices on this project. Swapping to work on this on a dark fabric with a light color thread just delights me every time I pull it out. I love it, and I can't wait to be able to display it at Christmas time. All right, and my final 2020 WIP. This was another December 2020 start. This is Santa's Post Office by Living on the Rainbow. This is a full coverage piece that will be finished into a drum. So apologies, I don't have like a full like stretched out version of what this will look like finished. So you'll just have to use your imagination for the other side of the drum. So that's my progress. I did a lot of work on this in December of 2023. Before that, it was like a little bit through here of the light blue part of the background, and that was all I had done. So clearly when I set my mind to it, this goes quickly. I just have to do that. Unfortunately, this does have like a lot of French knots, beads, backstitch, some like specialty thread embellishment type of deal. So even when the full crosses are done, this won't be done. But I don't think it's gonna take too terribly long to get this done. This is about, I wanna say this is the halfway point. I wanna say I'm like almost halfway done with the full crosses, but I could be wrong. So this is technically a small project because the footprint of this is not that big. So like if I'm right and this is the halfway point, this will be the end right here. So it's like the footprint of this is very small, but it is full coverage. So it does take a little bit more than a regular small pattern. But since it is a small, its due date was technically 2022, which definitely makes this a red project. Okay, we made it to 2021 projects. Starting with my 2021 New Year, New Start, we have Pineapple Welcome by Jeanette Douglas. This is a small pattern, so its due date would have been 2023, which makes this a red pattern and a goal for a finish this year. So here's where I am now. I just showed this to you in my December Flosstube, but I'm gonna show it again because it's gorgeous and deserves its moment. So 3 of these pineapples have specialty stitches, and I have loved stitching the specialty stitches. I can't wait to get to do one more. That final pineapple on the end will have specialty stitches. And then it says welcome underneath. So that's all I've got. This is gonna be like a shoe-in for a finish this year. So it may take 2 rotations to finish it, but definitely will happen this year. I gotta remember, I don't have the red silk for welcome, and so I need to make sure I have that before I get to it. Next, I started this in January of 2021 as well. This is Fruits of Plenty by Modern Folk Embroidery. This was their 2021 Sal. Obviously, I did not keep up with it because it is still in my WIP pile a long time later, but the sad part is just how little I've completed on it. So there you are. There's my progress. I think, I haven't looked at this in a while, but I think this third section is complete. There's still some like stuff down below it, but this third, what is this, a hexagon? Octagon? This is an octagon. So the third octagon across, I believe that is complete. But there's a lot still to go. So this is a BAP, obviously. which puts this deadline in 2034. Sounds like a time that humanity will not see. How is that real? Anyway, that will obviously make this a green project, but I look forward to a time, not this year, that I'll be able to put like some more concerted focus into this project because I love it. I'm doing this on 40 count, by the way. I don't know, just some 40 count neutral. And I am doing it with the charted 2 different DMC. And I don't think I said for Pineapple Welcome either. I'm doing that on, ooh, that might also be 40 count. I think that's also 40 count. And I'm doing that in the called for silk for the yellows. The greens were some DMC conversion of the called for, some were my own pick. And I'm planning to do the red in the called for silk. Okay. Moving on to February of 2021. I started this for Athena's birthday. Her birthday is Valentine's Day, so she asked us to stitch on something love related, and so this is what I picked. This is can be romantic love, this can be friendship love, this can be whatever you want it to be, and or it can be both, because I definitely consider my husband my best friend, so, which makes me feel very lucky. Anyway, this is Our Hearts by Brenda Gervais, and I started this in 2021, and this is a medium project, which makes the deadline 2024, so this is an orange project with the goal of finishing it this year. So there's my progress. As you can see, I think finishing it this year is doable. It's definitely more doable than some other orange projects I have coming up for you to look at, but this project goes quick for me too. It's this is also 40 count. Clearly I was having a 40 count kick when I was starting all of these things in 2021, which I do not even remotely regret. I'm loving stitching on all of these 40 count projects. I don't know why I have this on such a gigantic piece of fabric. Like, what is wrong with me? Anyway, so this is stitching up super quick with one strand, and I'm looking forward to this getting up on my wall and displayed in my home because I just love it so much. And that is all of the called for threads, by the way. Next, we have Natural Beauty 3 by Miss Degree. I actually have the picture to show you here instead of having to insert one. So there she is in all her glory. So I bought this as a kit. This is a French kit. And so I'm stitching it on the kitted materials with the kitted floss. And this is a printed fabric. And you don't stitch like on it, like this whole background will still be showing. So you primarily stitch her face and hair, and then she has like a crown, and then some like parts of the crown stick up, so you can see. So I have more of this complete than really what it looks like based on the fabric. So this is a medium project, which makes this an orange project, 2024 deadline. So going for a finish on this year, it's hard for me to tell how far away I am from that. So I'm not gonna say how optimistic I feel about that yet, but I really enjoy working on this project, so, and it's been a while. I mean, it did come out in 2023 because everything came out in 2023, but like, I worked on it once. Okay, so that was also February of 2021. So moving on to March of 2021. So clearly I had this in my stash for a year. I must have wanted to start this for the 1-year anniversary of the pandemic. This is Pandemic 2020 Sampler by Sarcy Girl. I loved this the second that it came out, but clearly it took me a year to start it. Here is my progress. I really, really wanted to start it on something similar to what she showed in the model, but I was not about to hand dye my own fabric, which is what she did. So I found a piece of fabric that already looked amazing. Let me see if I... There's a DMC in here. Okay, hold please while I explain why that's exciting. So I have a full set of DMC. I use the Pip and Chip floss drops, and I actually have my camera propped up on the box that I use to store them. And so I don't keep my DMC in the project bags. I keep them in the boxes, and then I will try to make thread drops like this that will hold like a few lengths of that color. Clearly I'm not good at replenishing them when I run out. But yeah, I don't store like these Pip and Chip drops in my project bags. And I've had a floss that I've been looking for a long time. It's probably this one, and I couldn't find where it was. So now I have to go back and check all of my project bags to make sure I have no DMC left in them. Okay, anyway, I was looking for if I have the fabric slip for what this is in the bag. Oh my god, there's another one. But no, oh I do, okay. This is another 40 count. This is 40 count anthracite. It says Weigart, anthracite. 40 count anthracite. But I'm obsessed with this fabric color. And I am stitching all of the called for DMCs and loving this project. This project is a BAP. So its due date is 2034. So this is a green project. This is not going to get a ton of love this year for that reason. But I'll still love it from afar, and hopefully it will at least come out to get a little bit of work. All right. Next, I started this in March of 2021. I then restarted it in 2022. This is Gathering Berries by Luminous Fiber Arts. So I started this for Mania, I think, in 2021. So first I'll show you the original. I started this on a piece of 40 count, 40 count birch. I think this is a witch alt. Anyway, here was my original start, and it's hard to tell in the camera. I know whenever I show this on camera, people are like, it's fine, but I did not like the coverage of the one strand on 40 count for this project. So I'm doing this in the called for Belsoise silk, and it wasn't like matching the vibe really. I also didn't really like the yellowy tone of this fabric so much for the vibe of this project. So in 2022, I restarted it on a piece of, I think, 32 count even weave color and cotton. I don't remember exactly, but, and there we go. And that's clearly so much better, right? Like, if we just compare those side by side, like even for fabric tone alone, it's so much better. So there's where I am now. This is a small project, so its deadline was 2023, which makes this a red project, and will be a high priority for finish this year. And that's totally doable. So I am stitching this in 2 strands of the called for Belle Soie silk. Next, in May of 2021, I started, one second. I started Janeway by Happy Sloth. I'm doing this on a piece of 32 count Nightshade by Color and Cotton. Here's my progress. She looks absolutely terrifying because her face and hair are not filled in yet. So when she comes out next, that is the goal, is like filling in some of this face and hair so that she stops looking so terrifying, so that I can verify that she's like looking good and I want to keep going. I picked this color fabric because it reminds me of the like turtleneck layer that is part of the Starfleet uniform in this era of Star Trek. And I want to love her. She just looks terrifying right now. Also, I was not expecting this when I started her. She is huge. I don't know why I didn't realize how big she is, but she's so big. So this is technically a medium project, but like she's like narrow and long. So this has a 2024 deadline. So this is an orange project with the goal of finishing it this year. It's not happening, folks. It's not happening. Can you see how much I have left? No chance. But by the end of this year, I should have plenty of project progress in on her, and she will be looking less scary. Next, also in I said I started gathering berries in Mania, but I started it in March. I'm not very smart. That was March Madness, or Stitchy Madness in 2021. Now we're into Mania of 2021. I think I did Mania in 2021. Anyway, these are all May of 2021. I started, this piece doesn't have a name because it came out of Emma Congdon's Stitch Rovia's book with the like earth theme. I've just been calling this Ancestors. This is a large project, but I am stitching this 1/1 on a, I think, 28 count. Did I save the thing? No, why would I? I'm almost certain this is a 28 count. So it looks teeny, but I'm loving how this is turning out. It's absolutely stunning. So because this is a large, its due date is 2026, which makes this a yellow project. My goal is to work like mostly in the top land section, and then do the C section, and then do the words at the end. Next, also in May of 2021, I started Half the Fun by Ink Circles. This came as an exclusive, at least at the time, in a Black Needle Society box. And I believe I started it pretty much right away. Pardon me while I remember which way up this goes. So, here is my progress. This is on a piece of Fortnite Fabrics 40 count. And this is an Almond M&M's silk. Fabric is Navajo Treasure 40 count, and the silk is Tantalizing Teal Almond M&M's. And I cannot get over this color combo. It's so good. So I am closing in on halfway. Not quite there, but I can taste it. So this is a medium project, which makes its deadline 2024. So this is an orange project with a goal of finishing it this year. This maybe can be finished this year, maybe. I don't want to get my hopes up, but if it doesn't get finished, it'll get real close. This, when I actually like put my mind to it, goes pretty quick. I think I've done a lot of stitching on this as a travel piece. For a while I was stitching this only while I was traveling, so it felt like it was going really slow. But when I stitch this, like when I sit down to like intentionally put a bunch of stitches into it, it goes pretty quick because it's one strand, all in color. I just gotta go. Next, in June of 2021, I started Little Women by Stitching Book Club. My paper is falling off the table. Hold, please. Okay, so this is a medium project, which makes this 2024 deadline and therefore an orange project. Trying to finish it this year. Here's how far I am. Remember, for anyone who's been following me for a while, remember when I thought maybe I had started this like on the wrong orientation of the fabric and it wasn't gonna fit? It's definitely gonna fit. I just started this on a piece of fabric that was like so gigantic and I started it in the middle, so I was like, what the heck is going on? No, it'll fit, it's fine. This is a piece of 20 count. So clearly the beginning of 2021 was my 40 count era, and then mid 2021 I discovered 20 count, and then I started a bunch of things in 20 count. So this might actually be my only remaining WIP in 20 count, but you're gonna be seeing more 20 count from me in the future because I love it. 20 count might be my favorite fabric to stitch on of all time. It's so amazing. It gives me the feel of stitching on 40 count, but it's easier to see, and I love it. But not that many people carry it, and so I don't have a lot of it in my stash. So I'm gonna need to fix that. But there's my progress. I think it's definitely possible to finish this year. I don't think it's that far off. There's like, I haven't looked at the picture in a while, but you all just saw it. There's like finishing the house and then like the names underneath, I think. So it's not like no-brainer close, but it might be doable. I feel like of my orange WIPs, I don't have any that are like, obviously, yes, I'm gonna finish this, no problem. I have my like, yeah, that seems reasonable. Maybe I can do that. And then the other ones that are like, no chance, I cannot do that. Still gonna put in the stitches anyway. We're still gonna get as close as we can. But that is a great segue into my last project of 2021. I started this in July. This is Yellow Submarine by Blackbird Designs. I'm stitching this on a piece of 40 count water green by, who knows, it doesn't say. But I think I got this from Shakespeare's Peddler. So I don't know if that helps. Anyway, here's my progress. As you can see. So this is a medium project, which gives it a 2024 deadline, and therefore it's an orange project. There's no way I finish this year. There's just no way. There's no freaking way. But you better believe I'm gonna work at it and get it closer. All right, so we've made it through 2019, 2020, and 2021. Now we have 2022. 2022, I did a lot of stitching gifts. So most of my starts I finished in that year. So I only have a few holdovers from 2022. First being Silver Moon Tea by Mirabilia. This is my first ever official fancy lady. I think you can call Natural Beauty by Misty Gree pretty fancy. I think she's a fancy lady, but I feel like everyone considers Mirabilia the queen of fancy lady. So my first one of these ever. I've been working on this for essentially a year and a half now, and I still have not reached the fancy lady. I picked this project because it was on the smaller side, and so therefore I thought more approachable. And I don't think that was wrong, but I have spent most of my time stitching background, which is honestly a little demoralizing. I want to get to the pretty lady. This moon is just absolutely unbelievably huge. It's so big, and I can't even just mindlessly stitch back and forth because you're not even gonna be able to see. Maybe you can. I have skipped holes here and there for where beads are supposed to go. So I can't just like print stitches back and forth because I gotta figure out where I'm supposed to skip for the beads. That's infuriating. So this is a medium project, believe it or not. Even though it's full coverage, it's a medium. So this makes its deadline 2025. So this is a yellow project. And wouldn't it be amazing if I could get to stitching the lady this year? But something tells me it's gonna be another year of stitching background on this guy. It's okay. It'll be worth it. It will be worth it. All right, skipping all the way to December of 2022, we have Frosty Weather by Blackberry Lane Designs. I got this at Galleria in 2022, and it came with the fabric. If you saw my December video, you will have just seen this. And here's my progress. It's hard to see with all the polka dots, but I have some snow up here, and I have the snow at the bottom started. The 1/1 animals are started, but still have some more to go. And there's quite a bit of snow down here that still needs to happen. And then there's like a top border of like some holly or something. And then an unsettling number of French knots on this project. I'm gonna see if I can do beads instead because it's so many. So many. But like they're kind of high density, and I don't know if I can get beads that are small enough. But I will ask my bead expert friends, Connie and Melina. Connie and Melina, please help me. Can I get beads that are small enough to fit in here? I'll be talking to you about this. Anyway, so that is a small project. It has a deadline of 2024, which makes it an orange project, which means that I need to figure out that bead stuff kind of soon. I still have quite a bit of like stitching those little 1/1 animals and filling in the snow and doing that top border. So I still have time to figure out what I'm doing with those. But I just don't think that I have the patience for that many French knots. It's so many. All right. Also in December of 2022, I started the Animated Christmas Classics by Story Stitches. This is a free sale on her Facebook group, and I believe it is still available to download. I think you might have to get it from her website now, but then the like fan editions are still up in the Facebook group, I think. But I think it's still free. So I talked ad nauseum about my plans for this in my December video. I'm not going to rehash all of that here. So if you're curious about how I am laying these out and finishing them, just take a look at my December video for that explanation. But here is my progress. So I originally had this miscategorized as a BAP. And I don't think it was because I'm spreading them out like this to cut them out. I think that I just did math wrong somehow. So I essentially went back and just picked the dimensions of the like original pattern, even though I'm not doing all of that border and everything. Turns out this is a small project. So that makes its deadline 2024, so it's an orange project and a goal for a finish this year. That might be a little bit skewed because I am doing a couple more than the original called for, but I'm also like not doing the big like peppermint border thing, so maybe it evens out. I don't know, not sure, but I'm going for the finish this year. We'll see if I can get there. If not, it'll be a priority for next year. Only one more for 2022. This was a December 2022 start. Oh no, I have zipped the I zipped the selvage into the zipper. Whoops. Okay, this is Peace and Light by Satsuma Street. Here is my progress. I'm stitching this on, I believe, called for 16 count Mystic by Picture This Plus with all the called for threads. And there we go. This is a medium project, so it has a 2025 deadline, which makes this a yellow project. All right, we have made it to 2023 WIPs, which is good because I'm starving. Okay, starting with my New Year, New Start of 2023. This is Snowballs and Icicles by Stitches by Ethel. Here's where I am. I have everything done except for like there's a tiny bit of backstitching on the bird bath, and then there's snowflakes, and that's it. There are also some like embellishments that I need to order. I don't have them. I think they're snowflake buttons that need to be added. This is on a piece of Silver Fox by Fiber on a Whim, 28 count. I think I picked 28 count so that the buttons would fit. I think that's what was called for. So this is a small, so it's due in 2024. So this is an orange project, which means I gotta get those embellishments ordered because this is gonna come up at some point soon. I'm getting a battery warning. Let me change that before it dies mid-sentence. Hold on one second. And we're back. All right. In March of 2023, I started Hanukkah Bits by Erica Michaels. I started this for my Do Stuff rotation. I wanted to try out silk gauze, which was new to me. And here's where I am now. This is full coverage. And this is a small, so it will be due in 2025, which makes this a yellow project. As I mentioned in my December video, this will be the first and only silk gauze project I ever do. I don't hate it enough to UFO it, but I don't love it enough to ever do it again. All right, next, in April of 2023, I started Rainbow Blocks by Stitching Book Club. And I had high hopes of finishing this by the quote deadline. This is a challenge, but I started this right before my honeymoon and then had to finish this for the challenge time during my honeymoon, and that just like was not gonna happen. I don't know why I was deluded into thinking that I might, but of course it didn't. But I made a crap ton of progress on it. So there's how that looks now. I think this is looking incredible. This is all of the called for threads on a, looks like a 32 even weave. Oops, I dropped the bag. So almost done with the big squares, and then just little squares left after that, and border. So this is a medium project, which makes this deadline 2026. So it's a yellow project. All right, now this is a change from previous. Last year, I started a couple of like cross-stitch adjacent needlework projects that I was not including in my WIP count. And I've decided to include them in my WIP count now. So the first of those is Hold the Line by Hello Bargello. So this is a Bargello pattern stitched on plastic canvas. So I say it's cross-stitch adjacent because it's essentially satin stitching is basically what this is. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. But it's needlework, and I include black work in my WIPs, so why not include these also? The only tricky bit is that they can be harder to count stitches than black work, but it's not too bad. So here's where I am on Hold the Line, and I'm loving this. I don't think that plastic canvas is like my favorite thing to stitch on. Sorry, this is not plastic canvas. This is needlework canvas. I don't think needlework canvas is my favorite to work on. I think I will like plastic canvas better, which is what most of Hello Bargello's things are designed for. But this in particular is designed to go in a hoop, which I think means that it has to be a little bit flexible to go in there. So that's why it's on the needlework canvas. So anyway, I stitch on this in hand, not in the final hoop that it goes in. And it's just like a little floppy. And even though I've taped the edges, sort of like catches on my clothes, and I just think that I will enjoy the stiffness more of the plastic canvas. But anyway, I'm really, really loving this. This is I keep dropping this paper. This is a small project, which will make its deadline 2025. So this is a yellow project. This piece of needlework canvas is exactly the size of my project bag, so really gotta shove it in there. Next, in June of 2023, I started Dorothy's Discovery by Silver Creek Samplers. And I started this at StitchCon. I went to Keepsakes with the intention of buying this pattern, kitting this up, and starting it at StitchCon, just because I know that Steph is a huge fan of Oz, and so I just thought that would be a fun memory to get to start this at StitchCon and buy this at Keepsakes. So here's my progress. I am stitching this on a piece of fabric that I got at the Annex at StitchCon. This is Freeze by Atomic Ranch. I don't know how to pronounce that. Freeze. By Atomic Ranch. It is 16 count Aida. And it is hard to tell in the camera, but it does have some very light green modeling in it, which is why I chose it. And I am stitching this in, sorry, there was like a fuzz that looked weird. I am stitching this in my own conversion of silks. And lots of different kinds of silks too. I've got Silk Mori, I've got Belle Soie, I've got Silken Colors, I've got NPI, I've got Whatever You Are, Soie d'Alger, I've got, let's see, I've got a Treenway silks in here. Yeah, lots of different kinds of silks. I'm really enjoying that in particular, and this has been just an absolute joy to stitch. Every single second I have loved. So this is a medium project, which makes its deadline 2026. So this is a yellow project. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Okay. Next, we have my other new addition to my WIP pile. This was started in August of 2023. This is a counted canvas project. And I don't think, I have a picture in here. Yeah, sweet. I don't have to post it. I can show it to you. Here's what it looks like. This is called Seafoam by Needle Delights. So even though I started this last year, it wasn't in my WIP pile, like officially in my WIP pile, but I have since added it. So here is my progress. I would say this is maybe about halfway. Maybe. Maybe a little under. So, by the way, I'm absolutely loving this. I'm loving every second of this. I can't wait to get back to it. I miss it very much. Oh no! The vinyl project bag. I don't know if you can see. I don't want to show you the pattern underneath. But the project bag, oh, can you see that? It ate my needle minder. I don't use vinyl front project bags a whole lot. I didn't know that could happen. It ate the paint off my needle minder. That's very sad. Okay, so I'm gonna store that upside down against the vinyl. Let's not do that again. Okay. So that's a small project, so it'll be due in 2025, making it a yellow project. Next, see if I have the picture in here or not. I do. Excellent news. This is Maple Lake by May Deer. This is a printed cross-stitch kit. So the pattern is all printed on this fabric. And I've talked about this several times throughout the year, but if you're new to my channel, I will recap. This is my first time ever stitching on a printed project. Here's my progress. It's actually popping out really nicely from the pattern, so that's good at least. But this is my first time ever working on a printed pattern, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna do this again because the symbols honestly are like kind of blurry on there. Maybe it's just like the brand that I picked, but some of the symbols are really easy to read and some of them are really challenging. There are a couple of colors, particularly the purple and the black, that look pretty much identical, and there are symbols repeated between them. So often, and then there's also like some fat slashes and skinny slashes that are hard to tell apart. There's like dashes and pluses that are like kind of hard to tell apart. I don't know. I find myself having to pull out, it came, thankfully, it came with a printed chart as well. And I find myself often having to check the chart to make sure I'm stitching the right thing, which completely defeats the point of it being printed right here on the fabric and makes it honestly take way longer than if I was just stitching straight off the pattern, and I find that really frustrating. That is but I think the pattern is beautiful and I want to keep going on it. I'll show you that again. So that is a huge WIP, and that makes its deadline in 2031. So it's a green project. My stack is tipping over here. Okay, next. In September of 2023, I started Gatekeepers by Whispered by the Wind. And weirdly, I started this on like the bottom half of the fabric just because of where the modeling was and what I wanted to grab. So I have to like fold down a bunch in order to show it to you. Here is my progress. I can't see. There's my progress. Not too bad. Let me see if I have the fabric tag in here. Of course not. So I don't remember what this was. Hopefully I said it on a video at some point in life, because otherwise I will forever have no idea. So that is a medium project, which makes its deadline 2026. So it's a yellow project. This fabric is too big for the project bag I have it in. It might, I honestly need to do an entire project bag reshuffle. But that sounds like a lot of work. I don't have in me right now. Next, we have Pumpkin Please. Pumpkins, plural, please. Pumpkins Please. The Erica Michaels. This is a project that breaks a rule for me. I have a rule that I only work on one project by a designer at a time. I just prefer that. So, this, I already have an Erica Michaels in my WIP pile, started also in 2023. So the fact that I started a second one kind of breaks the rules. But this is so small that I can just finish this and get it out of my WIP pile and then it'll be fine. There's my progress. I'm about halfway through it. This is a small project. So its deadline technically is in 2025. So it's a yellow project. But because it's a repeat, that sort of like knocks it up the priority in my mind. And I didn't, with Autumn Quakers, I actually upgraded that from a green to an orange. I almost did that with this too. I almost upgraded this from a yellow to an orange. I didn't because I have 12 orange projects and I don't know why 12 like felt like a good number to me. So I didn't want to add another one. But I'm kind of hoping that I'll hit this more than once this year and that will be enough to finish it. I still haven't decided if the orange color is acceptable to me or not. It looks more neon in the camera than it does in person, but even in person it feels really bright. So when I get this back out again, it will be decision time on if I'm pulling that orange out and picking a different color or not. Next we have Troublemakers by Pedal Pusher. I didn't mention, these are both October of 2023 starts. I started a lot of things in October of 2023. I got this at Galleria, and I did also get the this wooden finishing piece to go with it. And here's my progress. This is like very close to halfway. It's not quite halfway. It's like a third. I think it's actually like a third of the way through. So this is a small, which gives it a 2025 deadline. So this is a yellow project. Next is Jack Crow Lantern by Needle Lot Designs. Needle Lot Designs was a new designer to me this past year, and I definitely suggest checking them out. They have some awesome stuff. So this is a small pattern, which makes its deadline 2025, and it's a yellow pattern. So there's my progress. I love this so much. I love it so much. This is close to halfway, I think. It's over a third for sure. I'm doing this on a piece of 18 count Aida French Lilac by Picture This Plus. And I think it is the perfect fabric for this project, for sure. Next, we're still in October of 2023, is Wise Guy from Satsuma Street. This was clearly a kit. This is the other project that breaks the rules in my WIP pile. I have Peace and Light by Satsuma Street going also. But again, this is so little that hopefully this will not be long for my WIP pile. This is a mini actually. So its deadline is 2024, which makes this an orange project. So hopefully this will be finished this year and out of my WIP pile. This is on perforated paper, by the way. And I think I actually have the paper in this bag. Maybe? Where is it? Here we go. And that's how far I am. So, still plenty more to go, but I don't think that is super unreasonable to expect a finish this year. Still in October of 2023, we have It's Okay to Rest by Ba Meow. This is a small pattern, so it has a 2025 deadline, and it's a yellow project. This is on a piece of Picture This Plus sand in 18 count Aida. And there's my progress. This project I feel like is deceptive the opposite way. Usually my projects are like, oh my gosh, there's, you know, this feels so huge, but actually it'll go quicker than I think. This project feels like it's almost done because I have so much outlining done, but I actually think there's quite a bit left still to go. So yeah, this is a yellow project. And the last one for October of 2023, we have Boo. Actually, I have the picture of this one here. This is Boo by Hello from Liz Matthews. And I am doing this in my own color and cotton conversion. And there's my progress. I believe that's all of the letters and animals finished. This is a 32 count linen. I don't have the fabric tag. I seem to recall this was a color and cotton, but I don't feel like my color and cottons are serged like this, so it must not be. Okay, then in December of 2023, I started Snow Day by Shannon Christine Designs. I'm stitching this not entirely. I'm stitching this in mostly beads. All of the snow will be beads. I think I am going to stitch the trees and the houses in cross stitch. But we will find out. So I just showed this in my December video, but I'm gonna show it again. I'm stitching this on Fiber on a Whim Silver Fox fabric. It is bluer in person. It's showing really great on camera. And that's my progress. Last time I couldn't get the beads to sparkle for you. Let me try. How would I have my flashlight in here? Nope. It's just gonna wash them out. I'm sorry. I don't think you're gonna see the sparkle. They're so sparkly in person, I wish you could. But that's my progress. And I am stitching those full cross, at least for the time being, till I get frustrated by it, decide to restart it with half stitches. And those are Delica beads. They are white pearl AB beads. And I'm just stitching them with a white, I should have wrote down whether it was white or B5200, but I think it's white DMC. I gotta remember to write that down, put that in here. And finally, my last WIP from 2023 started on New Year's Eve. This is What's Next by, I think I've decided it's Banana Stand or Banana Stand, however you'd like to read it. And here's my start on that. Oh, I didn't say, but it should be obvious. Snow Day is huge, and so its deadline is 2031, which makes it a green project. So this is a mini project, so its deadline is 2024. So this is an orange project. I'm trying to finish it this year. That should be no problem. So before I call this video done, I do want to show you my 3 UFO'd projects and explain to you why they are UFO'd. So these are only my temporary UFOs. My permanent UFOs are gone. They're gone forever. But temporarily UFO'd, I have Blackwork Card Coasters by Peppermint Purple. I started this in 2019. I think. 2020? 2019? I think 2019. No. 2020. Who cares? I don't know. Here's how far I am. I've done 2 of the 5. I'm doing this on 18 count Aida. And I do have coaster blanks for these to go in, although looking at them now, they look kind of small. Did I check that they will look good in the coaster blanks? Nope. Also, I might change gears and finish them into ornaments. Who knows? I don't know. This is UFO'd because I really only like having one blackwork project at a time, so Rainbow Blackwork is a go for finish in 2024, and then in 2025 this will un-UFO and come back into my WIP pile and immediately be very, very stale and require some focus work. And as I mentioned about the like blackwork thoughts for new starts going forward, at least this one is not just blocks of fill. It's like actually making something. All right, next we have After the Roses by Ink Circles. I believe this was a 2021 start. And I UFO'd it because it breaks the rules. Both of these I UFO'd because they break the rules. I already had a peppermint purple design in my WIP pile, and I already had an ink circles design in my WIP pile. So I started this for, I think, Mania, or maybe I started this for like the first day of spring or something. I don't know. I started this in the spring of 2021 and then immediately decided that I shouldn't have done that and I UFO'd it. But I think it's pretty. I have no problems with the fabric or the floss. And so when half the fun gets completed, this will be reactivated. So this is why when I show my my WIPs in my Instagram stories, and I say I have 40 active WIPs, that's why I say it like that, because I do consider these WIPs still in my WIP count, but I don't want it to be confusing which number I'm referring to. So the 40 active WIPs does not include these UFO projects, but when I'm like doing my end of year stats, my WIP count will include these. So they're getting stale being UFOs. Like their original start date will still count as their original start date. And when they get reactivated, that will, like, their original due date will still apply. But I don't want to be putting active work into them while I have something much more important to be putting active work into. So that's the thought process. I know that mentality doesn't work for everyone, but that's what works for me. So my final UFO is Sing a Sampler by Silver Creek Samplers. And again, this was UFO'd because I already had a Silver Creek Samplers in my WIP pile. I just need to stop starting these things to begin with. I don't know if I just like temporarily forget that I have this rule or what happens, but apparently I didn't care. So here's my progress on it. Very, very little. I joined this because there was a sale of people starting it, and I wanted on the bandwagon. And some of those people were getting the Leo and Roxy floss conversion, and so I thought that sounded fun, and I jumped on that as well. And I just honestly don't love these colors. The brown and yellow just like aren't doing it for me. They're just not doing it for me. So right now I'm considering this a temporary UFO. This might end up becoming a permanent UFO / restart. I'm definitely gonna stitch this pattern. Definitely not until I finish Dorothy's Discovery, but I'm definitely gonna stitch this. It's just a matter of, do I restart it or not? This is on a piece of 40 count something. It does not look like I maintained the tag for it, but yeah, that might end up being a restart. I saw someone stitch it where all of the like borders and letters were done in like a rainbow, and I thought that was really pretty. So I don't know, but I am reserving the decision until Dorothy is done and I pull this back out and decide what I want to do. That was it. The pile of WIPs that I've just made reaches the top of my table. Floor to table. Oh boy. So that's 40 active WIPs, 43 total WIPs. And I am raring to go on these WIPs. So many WIPs that I absolutely love and I can't wait to work on. A few that maybe cause me a little bit of consternation, and I can't wait to complete them so that they can stop causing me the consternation. And a very small number of WIPs that are so close to a finish that it hurts me that they're still in the WIP pile, and I can't wait to get those crossed off. And then some that have just a laughably small amount of work on them compared to their size, and we're not even gonna worry about that until probably next year. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. I look forward to also finishing my 2023 year-end review video for you. So look out for that. And then after that, you'll see me again in my January Flosstube. So thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you next time.